Hi there. For some beginners, the G major chord can be a bit of a stretch. So in this guitar lesson for beginners, I'm going to show you a few alternative ways that you can play this chord. Here's version 1 of the G major chord, and for this you're going to strum all 6 strings, and you're using fingers 2, 3 and 4. So the second finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string, third finger is on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and the 4th finger is under there on the top E string at the 3rd fret. Version 2 of this chord is very similar to the first version, but we're only using the 4th finger at the 3rd fret of the top E string, and you're only playing the top 4 strings. So you'll need to dampen the low E and the A string, and you can use your thumb to do that. And this is a really good beginner's way of playing this chord. Version 3 of this G major chord uses fingers 1, 2 and 3. So finger 1 is on the 2nd fret of the A string, finger 2 is on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and finger 3 is on the 3rd fret of the top E string. And you'll be playing all 6 strings. The next version of the G major chord uses only your 3rd finger, and you're playing the top 4 strings, and the low E and the A are being dampened by the thumb. And this was the very first version of the G major chord that I learned many moons ago. This version here is a great version, uses all 4 fingers. What we have is the 1st finger, 2nd fret, A string, 2nd finger on 3rd fret of the low E string, and now we have these 2 fingers, the 3rd finger and the 4th finger are both on the 3rd frets, but the 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the B and the 4th finger is on the 3rd fret of the top E string, and you'll be playing all 6 strings. So this is kind of a combination of versions 1 and versions 3, and this chord shape was favoured by John Lennon. This version here is an easier version of the John Lennon way, and all you're doing is, instead of playing using all 4 fingers, take off the 1st and the 2nd, and so you're left with just the 3rd and the 4th fingers on the 3rd frets of the B and top E string. And for this you're only going to play the top 4 strings, and thumb dampening the low E and the A string. This version of the G major chord uses only fingers 3 and 4, very similar to version number 1, but we're not using this finger here, the 2nd finger. So finger 3 is on the low E string at the 3rd fret. Finger 4 is the top E string at the 3rd fret. Now, because we're not playing the A string, you're dampening it with the 3rd finger here. This version here of the G major chord, very similar to the 3rd version of the G major chord, like that there, but we are now not using the 1st finger, we're using 2nd finger, low E string 3rd fret, and 3rd finger, top E string 3rd fret too. And you're dampening this here with your 2nd finger. So a few versions of the G major chord that you can try out there. And one, you put those into practice by using some of these backing tracks here that you'll find in this playlist. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming.